Where you from, Derek? You muted your mic, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, what'd you say?
I didn't even notice you, man. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man. Just getting back in town. I was in Arizona for the last like 2.5 weeks, so
Oh wow.
good,
What you doing
good to
out
be
there?
back.
What are you
What's
doing
up?
out there? What are you doing
Oh
out there?
yeah. Got some family out there, so we went out there and hung out for Christmas and New Year's and that whole thing. So
Man, shoot, that's a great place to do some wholesaling, brother.
I know. I was thinking about it while I was out there. I was like, damn, man. Especially we were in Mesa, in East Mesa.
Yep.
Man, there's just so much development and like new developments out there. Like it was crazy. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a hot place, man. Shoot,
Yep.
now I know that you got some family there, man. You have them drive for some dollars for you.
I'm telling you, man, it is. Yeah, that place is amazing. I loved it out there. I was like, I could live out there, man.
Right. And I'm partial to Texas,
Yeah, right.
so
Right.
man, definitely. Man, no, definitely. Glad you had a good trip, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. What'd you do over the holidays?
Work, networked, worked, and some more. you know,
Exactly.
So that was good.
Good.
Yeah. What?
She said, "Can you shut the door?"
I'm excited about this Zoom today, man.
Hell yeah. I haven't been. I missed the last two, so I'm just excited to be here. But this should be a good one.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it like 3 more minutes, guys, and then I'm gonna start it. All right.
Bet.
Sounds good. Anybody finding deals in Houston? Man,
Nope. I just broke down in Houston, though.
you give me a call, man. I want to give me some help.
Yeah, when we got back, we flew out of Houston, so we got back. We had our car in long-term parking, and I go to, we get back, and I had a freaking flat on my front passenger tire.
Man,
Yeah, so it was a whole ordeal. I was missing pieces to my jack, so yeah, it was a whole ordeal. But ended up going to a Discount Tire right there, about a mile away from the airport, so they hooked it up.
you got lucky.
Yeah, yeah,
A mile.
exactly.
Smart man, got lucky on that one. Nah, shoot.
Completely.
You ever in
Good,
Houston? Let me know, man. I know you're military. I don't know how you feel about doing shooting outside of the military, man. But if you want to go hit up some gun ranges or something like that,
Oh
man,
yeah, for sure. That'd be a good time.
do my pass on. Shoot, I'll throw my number in the chat.
Bet. That'd be a good time, man.
All right, guys, we're about to get this started, man. So today I got my friend, man. She's from San Antonio. This girl is crazy, man. So when I first got in this business, she was already doing a lot of deals, and she's done an assignment fee, bro, for like 400K or over 400K. And like her first assignment fees were crazy, like 50K, 60K, 70K, and I was just like, fuck, dude. And that's what like kind of like got my eye open. Like I was just like, this is crazy. I didn't think you could make that much money that fast. Like wholesaling was like a cheat code, you know what I mean? I was like, man. So anyways, her name's Mitzi, guys. I'm about to let her in this room, and she's gonna chop up some game real quick.
Love it.
All right, guys. Mitzi, you there? Can't hear you. I can't hear her. Can y'all hear her?
No, I cannot.
All right, let her fix her mic. You there, Mitzi? I don't know if you're on mute or what.
Okay,
There you
can y'all
go.
hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? What are you up to?
I'm good. I was at an event, so I am in my car so that we could do the Zoom.
Oh, okay, cool. What event were you at?
Richard Shelton's No Excuses event.
Oh, okay. Is that here in San Antonio?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I was just introducing you to the group and letting them know how, when I first started in this business, you were already kind of doing stuff. And I remember you had told me like you first got in the business and your first deal was like 50K or something crazy. And then you backed it up with another big spread. And then your biggest deal was like over 400,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's really crazy. So this whole group is we're beginning wholesaling and they're just starting in their journey. So kind of just like introduce yourself to them. Like how did you start and like, where you're at now and where you're going.
Hi guys. So I started back in 2016 and I within like my first 6 months, I made over 6 figures, realized that this stuff works, and just been doing it since. I actually didn't start my first name or LLC for my company until like 8 months into the business because I wasn't even sure if it would work. And then I built a team. I got kind of big. I think we were doing about 25 to 30 deals a month. At the top, and then I scaled back because I realized I didn't like the position I had put myself in. I kind of felt like a babysitter, but so I scaled back, and now I actually bring home just as much money as I did whenever I had a large team, but I work with more. I do more partnerships with people now, so I don't have to worry about a team or overhead or anything like that. So I really like how I've set myself up in my business, but that's a little bit about me. And I also teach people how to do mindset. I do mindset training, and I also mentor people in wholesaling.
Nice. So we're gonna go over some mindset stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So like how do you think that you made so much money so fast, like 6 figures in 6 months? Like what do you think was the reason that you were able to do that so quick?
I put a lot of work into it, but I put the work into it that needed to be put into it. So I thought about like what's going to make me money, and that was talking to people. So I talked to as many people as I could, and I tried to target that on the type of people being the right people to talk to. And I just kept doing that. But I had the mindset that I could do it. I had the confidence that I could do it too. So I think that really helped.
Mm-hmm. So like Well, like explain like how you got your first deal to them, because a lot of people in this group are like barely getting to their first deal.
Okay, so what I did is I pulled a list of code violations and I drove that for dollars. I did my research first on that code violation list to see if there was anybody behind in taxes, see if they had any city liens. And what I found was there was a few that had behind in taxes, had city liens, was on the code violation list. So I created a list to go drive for dollars, and then I drove for dollars those lists. Well, this house happened to be also vacant, and it was an inheritance. So I kept calling the heirs to find out who I needed to talk to, and I found the three sisters. They hated each other, so they actually hung up on me 5 different times when I called them. And I just knew that I could help them because they were like, no, we're just going to let it go for tax foreclosure. And they had a MERP lien of $331,000 on this house that was only worth like 50K.
Damn.
And so I told them I could still help them at least get some kind of money. And they were like, no, you're going to make more money than us. And I was like, why worry about what I'm going to make? Worry more about yourself? Like, wouldn't you rather be able to go and buy you a Louis Vuitton bag, buy you some expensive shoes that you wouldn't have been able to afford, go on a spa trip, take your family on a small vacation? Would you rather do that or worry about what I'm getting? And they were like, where do we sign? So I talked them into selling me that house for $3,000.
Dang, 3,000?
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
was trying to get it for 1,500. Nobody told me not to offer that low. So I didn't know not to offer that low. So all the offers I was making was like stupid low, but I was talking people into accepting them.
Damn.
And so like, I put that one up for sale and I sold it for 55. And then, the next one was, pretty similar. It was also an inheritance. I couldn't find the people. I was having to talk to relatives. It was vacant, and finally found the person. And I was the only one who offered owner finance or whatever they may need. I was talking to them to figure out what their needs were. And they were like, we really like you because you're not just offering us cash amount. And they still wanted cash anyways, but they took my cash offer over even a higher offer than mine
Damn.
because
Okay.
they felt like I cared. I mean, I did want to help them solve their problem. So that came across. So they went with me. And I think it was like, I'm big on energy. So I think the energy you put into things, people can feel that. And these people knew that I wasn't just like the snake trying to buy their house for the lowest amount. They knew that I was here. This is really what I could offer them. And I did want to help them. So they felt that come across. And I'm all about whatever energy you put out, boomerangs back to you. So I was putting out the energy of this is going to work and I'm going to help these people. And it came back to me.
Mm. So on the first one though, that's kind of crazy though. So they owed how much on, what'd you say, like a MERP lien?
Yeah, it was a MERP lien of $331,000.
So like explain to that explain to the group what that is.
So a MERP lien is a Medicaid estate recovery program lien. So what that is whenever somebody owns a house, but they can't afford nursing home care, but they need Medicaid to do that, Medicaid will be like, okay, we'll put the lien of what the expenses are on your house.
Mhm.
So this lady had racked up like $331,000 charge with Medicaid. So they put the lien on the house. I actually had a real estate attorney that was my mentor at the time. I know you know him. And so he actually told me that was not something to go after, just to pass on it. So I just felt like there was something more to it. So I called MERP myself and I was like, hey, I'm trying to sell my house and there's a huge MERP lien on it. It was my mom's. I just made up a story like it was one of these ladies and told him it's my mom's house. We're trying to sell it. It's like 331,000 on it, but the house is only worth like 30K. Like, so if we're trying to sell it, what do we do? And they were like, well, we can only take what is on the contract. So if you can't sell it for more than 30K, that's all we can take. And I was
Mhm.
like, what if I can only sell it for $25? And they were like, that's all we can take is $25. So I hung up, called back again. So I was like, I got to make sure this, I'm going to confirm this. So I talked to somebody else, said the same thing, was like, hey, if I can only sell my house for like $25, is that all y'all can take? And they were like, yeah, that's all we can take is what the contract is for. So the rest of the lien gets dismissed. I was like, really? So, so I wrote the contract for $10, and then I paid them for their time, not their signature. I paid them for their time to come into the attorney's office to sign if they chose to with their time. And that's how they made $1,000 each.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. I didn't know you can do that. I just
Yeah.
learned, I just got a nugget today. All right, guys, so y'all heard that first. If you get a property with the MERP lien, and that stands for what now?
Medicaid Estate Recovery Program.
Okay, so if you get a property with one of those liens, now you know that they can only take what the contract is for. So gold nugget right there. I've never came across a property with a MERP lien, so now I know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen other people do it the hard way, and I'm like, y'all can just call and ask them. Like, that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. So guys, so a lot of this, and this is what I preach to y'all a lot. Like I tell y'all to go read certain books and stuff because it's super true. So, like your mindset is everything, right? So if you believe you can do something, you can, and if you believe you can't, you can't. All right. So it's like simple as that. Like the belief is everything, right? So if you believe in something, you act a certain way, and that action like creates opportunity. And if you don't believe, it's pretty simple. If you don't believe you can do it, you act a certain way, and the inaction takes away those opportunities, right? So it's pretty freaking simple. And so like what you believe in and who you believe yourself to be is everything, right? So it's huge. She believes in that. We like go over all this stuff all the time. And that's honestly the difference maker between success and failure. Like it's really that simple. I know it sounds cliche, but when you actually start listening to like your beliefs and like hearing and it's hard to do because you've been doing this your whole life and you don't even know what's going on back there. But once you become conscious of it, you're like, what the fuck? Did I really just think that of myself? And so it's like it's something you have to like, it's something you have to kind of nurture and like learn, right? But so, cause this is like really rare, right? So it's not often that somebody just starts wholesaling and makes 6 figures in 6 months. Like it's pretty rare. And so so you think it's mostly on your mindset?
Oh yeah, I think that has everything to do with it, because I would have been making excuses and sabotaging myself. Like when those people hung up on me the first 5 times, I wouldn't have called back because it would have just led into my insecurities that maybe this doesn't work, or maybe I'm not the right fit or whatever. No, I was like, no, fuck these people. I know I can help them. Not fuck these people, but like I'm going to help these people. They don't know it yet. And I had that attitude, and that's why I won that deal. And yeah, I think so. Do you guys want to know how you can like identify what some of your limiting beliefs are?
Yes, please.
Write down some of your top reoccurring problems.
Oh, okay. Write down some of your top reoccurring problems. Okay.
That is where your limiting beliefs are.
Mm.
So now what belief do you have that supports that problem being in your life?
Okay.
If you have a bad relationship, you may have a belief that you're unlovable. Or you may have a belief somebody else needs to take care of your problems or make you happy. What is it? You can figure out what it is. Like, it's not about the other person. It's not about the situation ever. It's always about what you believe, because what you believe reflects back in your life. And if it's a problem or limiting for you, it's going to create a problem in your life. And usually it's reoccurring because it's a belief and you don't know it yet.
Yep. I agree with that for sure. So guys, write that down, right? Cause this stuff really is like the most important stuff. So like the work you do on your mindset and everything, I preach it a lot. I actually might start just doing content on mindset. It's so important. So I always tell people like the reason that I've been successful is all in my mindset. So there's people that, you know, like have all the experiences I've had in life, but they have excuses and they're just in different places because of our mindset. That's it. I believe that I believe in who I am and what I'm trying to achieve, and that makes me act a certain way, and I go get it. You know, so it's super important. So okay, so Mitzi, so starting from there, I want to I want to talk about real estate a little bit more. Tell them about the deal where you made $400,000 in one assignment, or over 400,000.
Mhm. So I do believe that things can come to me easily, and I'm okay with challenges. So at this time, I had been saying an affirmation and believing that I was going to make over a 6-figure assignment fee and it was going to be easy. So I had somebody who called me and was like, "Hey, Mitzi, there's an apartment complex that just came up on LoopNet, and I think it fits what you've been looking for." So I was like, "What?" So I called the broker. I told them I'm going to put it under contract, but I want them taking it offline right when I sign the contract. And he said, "Okay." So they take it offline. I posted on Facebook for $400,000 more. Not even sure if I was if I was doing it right, like on like valuing it properly. So I added my 400,000. Oh my gosh! At this time, I had so many people talking shit about me because they were like, "Who does she think she is?" And within 3 days, I had a buyer with the earnest money and the non-refundable deposit for me. So we got that going, and then the challenges started. It could have totally fell through, and a lot of this stuff could fall through if you don't go that extra mile, if you don't do the next step. So my buyer calls me and is like, "Hey, doing our due diligence, we found that the seller, before he died, had his family move into this apartment complex, and he's not charging anyone rent. And so his children that took over, one was handicapped and one was just wanting her money out, and didn't know how to run an apartment complex either. So their whole family is living in it for free, no income. So no private lender wanted to do it. No lender wanted to do it, even though it had amazing opportunity. It had 7 acres of commercial land with it on top of the apartment complex that was right near HEB. And so you could see the potential, but it wasn't making any money. So when things aren't making any money, you almost have to always do owner finance. And not trying to do a limiting belief, but that's an option, is owner finance if there's no money coming in. So I called them and I told them we need to do owner finance. And they were like, "No, we want our money." And I was like, "How much money do you actually need? Like right now, what do you need?" And so they were like telling me too much. And I was like, "I don't know." So about a week went by and they call me back and they're like, "Mitzi, we need you to close like today. Can you close?" And I was like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "We don't have the management company anymore. They're done after today. Everything's going downhill right now. We really need you guys to take over." And I was like, "Okay, then you're going to accept $150,000 down. And then in the next 30 days, we'll do another 50,000 for you. And then we will do, it actually was paid off. So it wasn't a sub 2, but they agreed. And I told them we'll pay them 10% interest on the rest of it. So they both were getting a monthly income and then a year balloon. And so what I did is I went back to the wholesaler. I said, "Okay, it's gonna be 250 down for you, so I could collect 100,000 up front." And then told them in a month I want another 50,000, and then I also want 10% on my 300,000. And so I wrapped around a $300,000 loan, and for 10%. So I made my 10%, and he paid me off in a year. Got my money back out of it, and so I made a little over 400,000. And yeah, I had to just get really creative with it.
Dang, that's crazy. Guys, so tell me, how would $400,000 change your life? like 400 grand just put into your account. Like that's life changing money. Like most America like doesn't have more than like I think like 15 grand in savings or some crazy number like that. If that, right? So 400,000, you can completely change your life, right? You can invest, you can, you can do anything you want, right? So that's a lot of money. So if y'all have any questions for Mitzi, drop it in the comment section. Any type of question on wholesaling, her journey, just anything y'all want, drop it in the comment section. So that being said, like what mostly, how are you wholesaling now? Or are you still wholesaling?
Yeah.
Okay, how are you doing it now?
So, so I've mentored other people and I do mentor other people. So they'll bring me deals or, I do have one acquisitions guide. I do PPC. I have this other guy that'll call for me too, but I do mainly PPC and I have this guy that we get about, I think it's about 1 to 3 leads a day. It's not that much, but it's not bad. And so we wholesale with those. I'll buy some of them too, and then I'll relist them or I'll owner finance them.
Mhm.
And then, so I have deals coming at me in multiple ways. It's not just that, but I have the people that I've trained. I have people that I've used to work for me, all of that just coming at me with deals saying, hey, and realtors that I've worked with being like, hey, can you sell this? Can you do anything with this deal? Or are you interested in buying it? So like right now I have like 7 assisted living facilities, an apartment, an RV park. I'm getting even more than that. I've got a few mobile homes. I've got some land. I've got some mobile homes with land. I've got a 3-bedroom with a brick home. Like I've got plenty of deals and it's just all coming to me because of how I've set myself up and I don't have to pay anything in marketing anymore. I don't have to pay any overhead. I don't have to go to an office anywhere. I don't have to train anyone. If I train anyone, I'm getting paid to do it through my mentorship. So I've set myself up in a way that I really wanted, but you know how it is. I one time I had my big operation going and I really like what I have now.
Okay, so like, so you had, so you basically JV, right? So everybody's bringing you their deals and then you could buy it or sell it.
Yeah, well, the guy that does the PPC,
Mhm.
that does those leads, that's not a JV. The 2 guys that do that for me, those aren't JVs. They're actually more like my acquisitions people.
Mm.
But yeah, then the rest of it, it's in realtors sending me pocket listings. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I wouldn't say it almost any of them JVs. They're more like realtor pocket listings and people actually sending me the deal.
Mm.
Like for me to buy it. No, unless it's some of my students, then it is a JV.
Okay, cool. So guys, that's what I always preach, right? So like getting context and you being known to be able to sell the deal so that people
Yeah.
just bring you deals, bring you deals, bring you deals. So I mean, that's what I preach to y'all, right? I mean, that's my whole business model too. We don't do marketing. We just sell deals. People bring us their deals, we sell them and we make money. So that's kind of what I've been preaching to y'all. So right now, in this market, the gold, what we've been preaching is buyers, right? Buyers. In traditional realty or in wholesaling. If you got buyers, you have the gold, right? So just make sure to keep putting that in your head and don't like let that just slip through. Like be actively looking for real cash buyers. Or if you're a realtor, guys, some of y'all getting your license, people that are looking to buy homes right now are the gold, right? It's a buyer's market. So Jeffrey asks, how do you feel about VAs and what's the best way to outreach to agents for wholesale deals?
I think VAs can be great for like admin work and I've seen them do cold calling and be decent in that, but you really have to stay on them. If you're going to have them calling for you, but I would not have a VA calling agents. And the reason why is because it's a personal relationship and you're going to get a lot further by talking to these agents yourself. And if you don't like cold calling, go to networking events. I go to networking events because I kind of have big energy. So when I go at like we talk and they just connect with me. So I don't do any cold calling, and I don't use VAs to call anyone anymore. At one time I did have about 7 VAs that were calling people, and we were getting like, I don't even know how many contracts a day at that time, but it was doing really well. But this was like really staying on top of those guys. So I wouldn't hire a VA to talk to agents. I would do it yourself.
Okay. Well, what's some tips you would give them? So, a lot of this group is just getting started. They're barely getting their first deals. Some haven't even got deals yet. Well, if they're just starting, limited budget, like the fastest way to get deals, what kind of tips would you give them?
First off, y'all are way too new to be hiring any VAs, because that is a good way to put yourself out of business before you even start. So you got to understand the process yourself before you pass it on to someone else. Get buyers. JR is right. You need to find the buyers. Go and find who's buying right now, and then get online and see if you can find wholesalers and realtors that are selling investment deals. Ask them to send you their deals and see if your buyer can be connected with those deals. And ask those wholesalers if they're willing to JV if you bring the deal, and or bring the buyer. And I usually ask them, do you have any room in your assignment fee for me? Because I don't like to add an extra fee. I like to be in the fee so that my buyers aren't having extra fees added on. And I go from there. That's the easiest
Yeah.
and fastest.
So if you were starting all over, what would you do?
I would post on Facebook, OfferUp, Craigslist, and I would do Canva ads saying that I've got investment properties. I'm looking for buyers that are buying right now. And then tell them to message me or comment. And then I would start commenting a lot in these groups that I notice buyers are in, so I can become a conversation starter. And so people would start looking at me like an expert. And then that way my post will also show up more about other people. And then I would that's basically it. I would do that. I'd be looking for buyers everywhere. I'd be going to networking events big time. Every networking event I could find, and it's not just about real estate. I would be going to bicycle club events. I would be going to any event that I would find some interest in, because everybody wants to be a real estate investor. If you think about it, everybody wants to be a real estate investor. I would also come up with, because of what I know now, I would tell them that I help real estate investors invest and find the property, find the lenders, and I put it all together for you to make it super simple. So I would add extra value than just being a regular wholesaler. I would add that value by packaging everything together to make it super simple for buyers, and tell them that I'm providing an elite service for them.
And that's basically what we do. So guys, another thing that I would add to that is just get really, really, really involved in your local real estate investment community. So that's a lot of stuff, right? So that's going to all the RIAs, all the networking events, going to all the Facebook groups. And there's, in your city, some of you in San Antonio, some of you in Houston, some of you from a little around the ways, they all have the players, right? It's small knit groups, right? So you just start joining the groups, man, joining the circle, meeting them over and over until you become just part of the network, the circle, And then once you're in the circle, deals just come by you, buyers come by you just start making money just by being tapped into the community, because it's a pretty small community. Jeffrey asked, tell us about your failures.
With wholesaling, I didn't really have a lot of failures. My failures started when I started trying to flip. And what it was contractors. Like, I even got the flips where I should have made a bunch of money on them, and contractors will eat up your profits so quickly by stealing the money, asking for the money up front. So now I'd recommend don't flip. No, For real though, I wouldn't flip. I am flipping right now, but I do super easy flips, and I'm either owner financing them out or it's something like that. But I don't like to do rentals or flips anymore. I like to owner finance, and I'll only keep rentals if it's commercial now. but flips. My biggest failure was I partnered up with one of my students who told me he was a general contractor in another city. We should have made over 6 figures on there, and he just was wasting that money away. And when I went out there to check out what's going on, he was buying axes to chop down the trees instead of chainsaws. Like, he was picking the hardest way to do things because he was like, I am man. And he beat on his chest like a gorilla. That's exactly what he did in front of me when I asked him why he was doing that. And I'm like, wow, okay. That's the level of person I'm dealing with right now. All right. Did not know that. And so he completely ate up the whole $100,000 in profits by taking the amount of time he did and ruining everything that he was working on. So I just finally sold it as is. And I think I only made 13,000 off of that.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
So, yes, guys, I do flip houses, but I have a project manager that handles everything. And so he's like my GC. And so he subs everything out. So it's like, if you can get it like that, I mean, that's just, you gotta have systems, but if you're getting into this business and you don't even like really know about ARVs or contracting, flipping houses can eat your lunch. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you can lose money, and you can lose money fast. So that's why do not get into house flipping until you're an expert with numbers. Expert. Like, your
Yeah.
ARVs are on point, your repairs are on point, and you know somewhat something, because contractors can take advantage of you so fast. Like, you'll be out 20 grand in a week. And then, you know, you're only supposed to make 30 grand on the whole deal. And then all of a sudden you panic, and like, just shit just goes, there's nothing that can happen good out of that. So I don't recommend flipping at all right now. Unless you have some sort of background with it. So when I got in this business, I had my own remodeling company for 7 years before I even got into wholesaling. So I was kind of like an exception, because I can do that. That was my specialty. So unless you have somebody that knows what they're doing, don't get into it yet. or partners with somebody that does know what they're getting into. Josue says, thank you for your time. Do you still think it's possible to make more than $20,000 in assignment fees in the current market for 2023? And I'm assuming he's meaning for deal.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do. And my student, so I have students right now, and then I have one-on-one mentees also. But one of my one-on-one mentees, this week she closed two $25,000 assignment fees. Next week she has another $25,000 assignment fee. I made her make a limit that was her lowest limit of assignment fees. I said, your limit, your standard is 25,000 and up. I said, you set that standard, you get it. And anything that's below that, you pass it on to another wholesaler and you half the fee. But don't worry about that deal. It's a waste of your time if it's less than 25,000. And she's about to make $100,000 this month because she set that standard and she believed it.
Damn, there you go.
And she doesn't cold call. She doesn't cold call. She doesn't pull list. I just trained her in the whole networking, making the most out of networking.
Nice. And that's what we preach. So, so to answer your question, Josue, yes, you can still definitely make $20,000 assignment fees. You know, we do that often. It's not about the market. It's just about how low you get the deal. You know, I mean, that's all really it is. You know, so like she said, she got a house for what, 3 grand, or would you say 5 grand or 3 grand?
Yeah, grand.
So it's never about how much you can make. It's always just about your negotiation skills and how low you can get the house for. So there is no limit on assignment fees. The buyer doesn't even need to know what you're making. If buyers ask you how much are you making, that's a red flag. Like, they shouldn't even care. All that matters is this price good for you? So you can kind of get that out the way in the beginning when you meet buyers and say, hey, look, if I find you a deal and I get it for $1, but the price works for you, you're gonna have a problem with what I make. Like, kind of get that out the way in the beginning, right? Like, make sure they don't care about assignment fees, because there are some buyers that do care. and they'll see what you're making. They'll pocket watch and they'll see, oh, you're making no. I don't care about how good it is for me. You're not making 10 grand. Like, so make sure that those guys aren't in your circle or in your buyer's pool. There's always a way around it, guys. There's something called a double close. A double close is where you get a whole separate contract with your buyer than with your seller. So, but in that case, you do need transactional funding or have to find a title company that'll fund the front side contract for you. So that way nobody sees your fees. The seller doesn't know how much you make, the buyer doesn't know how much you make. So it hides that you made money. But that eats up into your fee a little bit. But if you're making over 20, 30 grand, it doesn't really matter. So it's kind of just like a little insurance policy, I like to call it. When my fees, I mean, I've literally assigned, my biggest fee was 175 and I assigned it. The buyer didn't care. So it just depends on the buyer. But there is some buyers where I'll assign it just because I'm making 25. Because I know the buyer and I know he will have a problem with it. So you just got to kind of know the people that you're dealing with, right? Let's see. Jeffrey says, where do I sign up to learn your networking strategies?
Oh yeah, and I see this other one about how do we do affirmations, say them before sleep or in the morning.
I didn't see that.
So for my networking strategies, I mean, I teach it in my course, the most complete wholesaling course ever. But from what you're probably learning from JR is going to be a lot of what I teach too. I think JR and I do a lot of the same stuff. I don't know. I'm assuming that JR, but
yeah.
we've been to all the same trainings, like literally, right?
We always meet each other in the same city.
Yeah, no matter the state. So you'll probably learn a lot from JR, but if you want to look more into mine, you can go to my Facebook. It's Mitzi Diane, MITZIDYANE, and then there's a link with work with me that you can click on and you can get on there. I do have a Get Your Shit Together course that's coming out February 21st. It's going to be 3 months. I'm charging so little. It's $297 for 3 months. And guys, I usually charge $1,000 an hour to talk to me. So that is, it's insane, the price, but I'm doing it for unlimited amount of people. And it will change your life. Like, no doubt. If you take the course and you do the work, it's going to change your life. So on affirmations, Derek, when you first wake up in the morning and when you go to sleep at night, when you're kind of drowsy, is going to be the best time because of what state your brainwave is in, is going to be slow enough to be able to program yourself. It's almost like a hypnotherapy in a way. And this is when you're most receptive for rewiring. So whenever you're tired. And then the other thing is when you're scared. So if you almost got into a wreck and all of a sudden you're scared right then and there, that's another time that you can say affirmations. You can be like, I'm 120 pounds, or I'm this, you just claim it, not what you're not, but what you are. And a lot of people say affirmations incorrectly. They'll be like, I will become a billionaire. No, then you're always going to be on the verge of almost never being that. So you have to be like, I am. And all positive statements. Not when I say positive statements, I'm just saying don't put a not or a no, because the universe doesn't hear that. It's all, I am powerful. I am abundant. I am peaceful. I am joy. And then you're going to eventually get to one point where you're like, you realize I am, and you are everything. And that's a whole nother level, but I am in those statements.
Cool. So I heard in the Bible, I am is like the most used phrase, and it's like the phrase meaning of God. I don't know. I heard something like that. I don't really do much affirmations, but I do know how powerful like it is when you say I am in your mind, what you're telling yourself who you are. It is powerful.
And there's different levels of manifesting. You don't have to do affirmations. If you're already at level 3 or level 4 and you're doing affirmations, you're going backwards in your manifestation journey. There's going to be a point where you already have that self-image and that confidence that you don't have to remind yourself that I am. You'll just know it. There's a being it. So there's like a doing, a knowing, and a being. And like when you're at that being level, you don't have to remind yourself what you are. You already embody it.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what else we got here. Chris Vargas says, how do you vet serious cash buyers?
I get on the phone with them and ask them what deals they've been doing lately. And then if they're like, they usually tell me, or they start talking about a partner, or they'll start telling me how they haven't done it yet. So I just tell them, ask them, what's your story? What are the last few deals you've done? You know, what are you looking for and how much are you looking to spend? And do you have proof of funds? Are you looking for, do you need a hard money lender, or do you have cash?
Yeah,
And I also ask my cash buyers what their real end goal is, because I like to educate them. So if they're like, I'm looking for passive income, and they're telling me they're looking for flips, I'm going to be like, that's really not the way for passive income. And this is why. So I'll explain pros and cons. And, but those other questions that I just told you, that's what I do.
yeah, so the way I do it, guys, the first thing that I do is I want to separate wholesalers from cash buyers, because you're gonna find a lot of people that aren't really cash buyers and they just want you to send them their deals so they can try to sell them. So I try to separate that immediately. So the way I do it is up front, I tell them, hey, so if you're a wholesaler, let me know right now, because they're gonna fake it and they're always gonna say they're cash buyers. So I just say, hey man, so if you're a wholesaler and you have a buyer, let me know right now. I can still work with you. I just work with you a little bit different. You know, we can JV and do deals. But just tell me right now so we can do things the way I work with wholesalers. And usually if you open the door like that, they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm a wholesaler, man. I got buyers. Boom, you've already separated it. And those people you don't want to just throw away. You want to keep their contacts and be in contact with these people, because you're going to hit them asking them about if they have deals, basically. Because when you find your buyers, you're going to go to them, see if they get deals, right? If they found deals. And then for buyers, once they say, no, man, I am an end buyer, we ask a few questions. One is basically what is your goal, as like, what are you looking for? How can I help you, right? Because you have to provide a service to them. So if you don't know what they're trying to do, you can't really service them, right? So first thing is, what is your goal? So are you flipping? Are you looking to rent? Are you looking to create notes? What are you looking for? Are you a land buyer? And so they're going to tell you, oh yeah, man, I'm trying to get 3 rentals this year. Perfect. So you're a renter. You're not looking for flips. That right there, I put them in. Those are your best buyers right there, because they're going to buy at the largest spread. Like, you're going to be able to sell them higher than anybody else, because flippers need the margins bigger because they want to make more money. But as a renter, they're not really going for equity. They're going for cash flow. So you're going to be, those are your best buyers right there, right? Flippers, okay, you're flipping, you know, and then I get their criteria. What will they buy on any side of town? Will they only buy on this side of town? Will they only do mild rehabs? You want to really build relationships with these people and figure out who they are and what they're trying to do, right? Because if you're not listening and they're telling you, you know, I only do historic district flips with 6-figure spreads, and you're sending them, you know, north side deals with very slim margins, they're not going to take you serious, right? So you got to know who they are and what they're looking for, right? And then I ultimately ask them if they're hard money or cash, and how much capital do they have to invest. I want to know how much money they have, but in a nice way. You don't ever ask how much money do you have, right? It's how much capital do you have to invest. And if you say it like that, you know, they'll most likely tell you. So you want them to have a minimum of 30 to 35,000 to be able even to work with any hard money lender. So that's a little rule of thumb right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. How do you find transactional funding? The way I do it, guys, I can give you a link. There's a company called Searchers Capital. They'll do it anywhere in the nation at 1%. That's really the only person you need, and mostly everybody's charging 1%. So I do have another contact, Mitzi.
No, that's good right there. The 1%'s good. So I've had like private lenders that have been willing to do transactional funding, but they want like 1.5%.
Yeah, guys. So what that means, 1%, is okay. If you get a contract for $100,000 and you're gonna rip it and you're gonna sign it for $150,000, and you don't want nobody to know that you're making 50 grand, you're gonna call Searchers Capital. You can reach me. I can hook you up. and you're gonna tell them what you're doing, and they're gonna have to fund $100,000 for you, plus closing costs. So at 1%, they're gonna charge you $1,000 to do this, plus you're gonna have to pay for the front side closing costs. So out of your fee, you're gonna pay $1,000 for the transactional funding, because that's 1% of the loan you need to be funded. And then you're gonna need to pay the closing cost of that transaction, which is like 1,500 or so. So instead of making 50, you'll make 47.5. And they're good. They've done, whenever I do need it, they come through, and they come through every single time. Chris Vargas says Joe Dispenza gets deep into this. Oh, I could go on and on about Joe Dispenza. Who are some of your favorite mentors on mindset, Mitzi?
Oh man, so I like Esther Hicks. I like Joe Dispenza. I like Dr. David R. Hawkins. He was like the first Eckhart Tolle. And I like Amanda Francis too. She actually was somebody I went to business school with, and she's really gotten into it. And she's like a multi-millionaire money manifestation queen over there. And so those are my main people that I follow.
Okay. Some of mine, guys, Joe Dispenza. I mean, I've been as his 7-day Cancun retreat. It was wild. I actually have a video of that on my YouTube. Like, bro, one time I woke up late, and he had 1,000 people on the beach, like looking like zombies, just like, and I walked up late, and it was the fucking wildest thing I've ever seen, bro. And I couldn't imagine the people that didn't know what was going on. They probably thought it was like the end of the world, bro, because there was just like people looking at the beach, like while the sun was coming up, and they were, it was so fucking crazy. But if you go to my YouTube, I have a video on that. So Joe Dispenza, I like Wayne Dyer, I like Bob Proctor, and you can YouTube all these guys and go deep down the rabbit hole. What's that other guy's name? I don't know, those three right there, they have crazy content, like with those three right there. Yeah, so Chris says I gotta see that. Yeah, you do. Go check it out, man. It's crazy. Mitzi, so all right, so it's already, we're getting close to wrapping it up. What are some good tips on mindset you could share with them?
Check out the book Cybernetics. It's really good for self-image, because how you see yourself is going to determine how you see everything else. And then another one I would say, check out the map of consciousness, or the power versus force chart, so you can start figuring out where you're vibrating with what emotions you have. Your emotions have nothing to do with anybody else or anything else. They have everything to do with what you believe about somebody else or something else. And so it tells you where you're vibrating in your state of consciousness. So it'll tell you if you're in survival, or if you're in the spiritual paradigm. The spiritual paradigm is where flow is, and this is where abundance lies. So the more that you can keep yourself in that spiritual paradigm, which is love and above, you are going to attract abundance. You're going to attract everything you want in life, and you're not going to have to work hard for it. It's going to happen easy. It's like the same flow state that artists are in whenever they can write a song in like 5 minutes. That's a hit. Or like somebody can draw something crazy. That's the kind of stuff that is worth looking at. So look at the power versus force chart, or map of consciousness by Dr. David R. Hawkins. It's really insightful.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some tips I could give y'all would be, get a journal and write down your goals and review them every day. In the middle of the day, in the beginning of the day, right before you go to sleep. And that's so simple that anybody can do it, and it's so powerful. Just keeping your goals in mind, keeping your goals in mind, keeping your goals in mind at the top of your mind. It's so simple. If you see all the most successful people in the world, they do that one little trick. They just review their goals multiple times a day. All right, and so that book, Psycho of Cybernetics, that she's talking about, it talks about how your mind is literally it's like a torpedo. So like a self-guided torpedo, it goes to a target and it continually corrects itself until it hits the target, right? That's how our minds work. We're not supposed to just be, we have, like, that's the, how did it say it? We're driven by goal. Our target is the goal, and we're going to continue making mistakes until we hit our goal. But that's how our minds function as humans. We're goal orientated, right? We need goals to live, to be happy, to survive. And most people on earth don't have goals. They just don't. We're programmed by school. We're programmed by the 9 to 5 and everything to look here, just do this. This is what you're supposed to do. Take care of that. And I'm gonna tell you what to do next. And then I'm gonna tell you what to do next. And that's how most people are. That's how we're programmed since childhood, right? Just to obey, don't be creative. And that's why there's so much fucking depression right now and anxiety and everything, because we're not wired like that. To be happy as a human, you always have to be striving towards something. You always want to be trying to achieve something because that's growth. And that's how you really stay happy. So that's very simple stuff, guys. Very simple. So if y'all don't have y'all's goals written down, write them down tonight and review them 3 times a day. All right. What else, Mitzi?
I like that, what you just said. The 369 journal does that, where you write them down 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night.
Mhm.
And that it is really powerful. But I do want to add this, is that you don't want to hold on to it so much, like you don't believe it can happen. So like there is a feeling of like putting it out there, knowing with intention that it can be yours and setting that goal. And there's another thing of trying to control it so much and force it and be coming from a place of lack and desperation. So feel in and tap into how you're feeling about those goals when you're writing them down and thinking about them, because how you think about them when you're saying them or when you're writing them, it's going to make a difference. If you're thinking, oh, I'm going to write this goal down because I know I'm lacking it, I'm desperate, I want this so bad, you're not in the right frame of mind to make that goal happen yet. So you need to know that it can be yours, and you're writing it down for intention.
That's deep. That's deep. So that's very true, guys. Like there's a lot of stuff, like we can go talk about this for hours. Like I'm super passionate about this right here. So like this whole stuff about mindset and like setting goals and like this whole spiritual stuff, like it's like my passion. So I can go on forever. So I can give y'all books, and like you gotta go down the rabbit hole. So there's a lot of stuff that you need to, yeah, like it's a lot that you get thrown off as once. Oh man, I think I just accidentally removed somebody. Shit. Okay, guys. So we're getting close to wrapping it up, guys. Do y'all have any more questions for Mitzi? Anything on real estate? Anything on mindset? What you've learned, or anything else before we wrap this up? Well, Mitzi, are you going back into that conference?
Yeah.
Where is it at? Is it like for is it for like a group only, or is it open?
No, it's open. Yeah.
Where's it at?
4201 Medical Drive.
Is it the Ala Maria?
No.
No?
Yeah, it's a different one. If you want to come out, it's gonna be another hour.
Okay, I might go by. So there you go, guys. If you're in San Antonio, 4201 Medical Drive. Go start networking right now. I might show up, I might not. I don't know yet. I'll text you.
And my number, just in case you'll get here, because there's a lock on the outside, is 903-372-7189. That's my phone number. 903-372-7189. I can let you guys in.
All right. And if y'all didn't catch that, just message me and I'll get y'all in. All right, guys. Well, that was it. I hope y'all learned a lot from this. I'm gonna put this recording in the group, and yeah, let's just keep let's keep it alive in the chat, and then let's do it again next week. See y'all. Thank you, Mitzi.
Thank you. Bye, JR.
Thank you, Mitzi.